So on our last trip to Glamis, we had a brake failure with the emergency cable. It popped out and made all of our brakes lock up. Right now I'm going to be working on replacing brake drums, back plate, and bearings. So our first step was getting the trailer over here onto the pavement so if I dropped any bolts, it wouldn't get messed up. Now my next step is going to be pulling off the tire. Now your next step is going to be trying to pop this off. You're going to want to take your screwdriver and a mallet. Usually you would hit it like this, but it's already popped out, so I'm just going to have to twist and pop it off. Now this is very greasy, so you're going to have to be careful to not get it on you or your working space. Now you're going to want to try to get all this grease off so you have a bit cleaner of a workspace. Now your next step is going to be trying to pop off this pin. Now in most cases you're not going to have an extra pin, so you want to keep this, but in my kit I have extras, so I'm not going to be keeping this. Okay, now since you have the king nut off, you're going to want to wipe that off because sometimes you might still need to use this, because if you have a kit that comes with one, it might not be the exact same. You're going to want to slide this out, then push it back in gently, pull out this washer, this bearing, and try to make sure you keep it in the same order, because this has a certain order that you have to keep it in. Now this is a very messy job, so you're going to want a few rags. Now, if you look right here, there's no pad left. It's just, there's a little bit of it left, but it's very damaged. The wires are cooked. This is a very big safety hazard. That's why we're mainly doing this. That's raw copper, which means that can ground out. Same down here. Down here, it's not as bad. The other side was a lot worse because that was where the main wires came, and it got the most power. Down here, it seems like it stopped soon enough to not be damaging. So I'm right now going to start cleaning this off, and then on the back side, I'm going to start pulling off those nuts. So I'm going to throw you back on and get. Like I said earlier, it's going to be very messy, so you're going to want to have gloves, a few rags. You're going to want to clean everything off. You're going to be working next to this, and it's going to be very easy to accidentally rub your shirt on it or and make sure that your rag doesn't have any dirt or anything on there, because when you want to put this back together, you do not want to strip these out. That will give you a very big problem. It will take a very long time to fix. It will make your project that should be around a day. You should be able to get it done in a day. That'll turn it into about 2 days plus. Now, most of the time, you're going to need to only use a wrench because the space is too small. And sometimes they might actually fight you, so you might have to go grab a pry bar or a cheater bar. Which I'm thinking I might have to go do, because These aren't coming off. Now you're going to want to make sure you have your wires cut or disconnected before you try taking any of this apart or popping this off, because if this does fall off, you can mess up your good wiring or your bad wiring. Now you're going to want to make sure that you have at least a nut on when you're right here, because if you do not, you have risk having this falling, hitting your leg or your body. Now, I kind of see what we made our failure. It seems like this wire stayed somewhat together. It was mainly the outside that broke, but this one, it broke, causing the brakes to stop from grinding. The other side, these were still fine. That's why the other side we had no brake pad, it was just steel. Now, if you look over here, the two wires, these two, this one is the one that broke on the other one, which made these just pop back in. Right now, I'm working on getting the butt connectors crimped on this half. Then I'm gonna grab my backing plate, put that on, bolt it. Then I'm gonna run the wires through, get those connected. Then I'm gonna go grab my drum, put those on, and start working on putting the bearings together. Now you always wanna make sure you have a good connection by doing a small tug. Don't yank on them, but just tug. Okay, now I'm gonna go grab my backing plate. You're going to want to make sure that you have the left side on the left side and the right side on the right side. Otherwise, your brakes will not work. They will go on each other's sides, but they will not work together. Now you want to make sure your wires are not pinched. Otherwise, you will ruin the thing of wire. This is not something you can just add another piece of wire to. Now, if you have bigger hands, you're going to have to most likely use like needle nose or something like that for these lowers, because it is a very tight space. I have small enough hands so I can fit. Now you want to make sure all your nuts are on with your washers, because when you tighten this down, it's going to want to move, and you might not have your threads showing enough for you to fit your lock washer and nut. Now remember, keep your wires out of the way, because you will crush them. Now I like to put a new end on these wires because, one, they're long enough, and two, they're usually messed up on the shipping process. Okay, now since I'm done wiring, I'm going to try to put this up to where it will not get caught in any spinning objects or get caught on a bush. gonna start working on torquing down the lug nuts. What's up, guys? It's Travis Extreme here. We had a trailer emergency brake failure, which caused us to drag the brakes home from Glamis. We had to replace the brake drums, backing plate, and wiring.